Our next speaker, Al Eastman, is being introduced by Ruth Anna Buffalo, one of our council officers and director of Native Engagement. Ruth does incredible work.
Dosha relatives, I have the distinct honor of introducing a local community organizer and advocate. Mr. Al Eastman is an environmental scientist and ecologist. He is a member of the Sichangu Lakota from the Rosebud Sioux Reservation in South Dakota. He is a tribal college graduate of Oglala Lakota College. He has experience as a field ecologist, environmental lab manager, and conservationist. He is a community organizer and activist and an archery instructor, currently working at the Metro Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Al Eastman.
Thank you. Hello, my relatives. Again, my name is Al Eastman. I'm from the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota. I've lived in Chicago for about 15 years. And I'd like to thank Michelle, of course, for her invitation to speak here and her tireless work that she does for the DCN Environmental and Climate Crisis Council. Thank you. I've worked in water and environmental sector for about 20 plus years. I've seen a lot of changes over those years, and one of the things that I've seen more recently here in Chicagoland is a lot more flooding. Like it was mentioned, I work for the Water Reclamation District here over in Stickney, for those that are familiar with this area. And we're having a lot more flooding events more intensely, and it's hard to find space for this water to go to. We've been creating different reservoirs to store this water, but unfortunately we still have combined sewage overflows that go into the lake and the river. The lake is where we get our drinking water, of course, and that's not something we want to see. And it also goes into people's basements, and that doesn't make them very happy. There's a lot of costs for cleanup, and unfortunately we see a lot of that happening in the black and brown neighborhoods. So also something that I want to mention that happened just last month that was a little surprising was there's 27 tornadoes that happened in one evening during a storm in the Chicago area. I was working that evening, and it was a pretty exciting ride home from work. That's for sure. It was trees falling down onto homes and into the streets. It was tough. So to combat this, we need to really focus on aging infrastructure that's not able to keep up with this extreme precipitation. And many communities, they require upgrading water systems, especially in our low-income communities, to help reduce this flooding. We've also seen a lot of record-breaking heat waves that have happened here, creating drought. My relatives back in South Dakota talk about drought. And the bottom line is we just need to elect people that are willing to stand up and fight for the climate crisis and the solutions. I'd like to give thanks, of course, to the bipartisan infrastructure law and Inflation Reduction Act for the funding for the environmental justice, and also the Tribal Access to Clean Water Act that provides infrastructure projects and promotes tribal independence and governance capabilities, and better access to drinking water, and of course the lead service line replacements that have been happening here in our neighborhoods. One last thing is indigenous sovereignty is a climate solution. As students of over 80% of the world's biodiversity, indigenous peoples' leadership is key to ensuring our planet's future. And with that, I'd like to say, help lift up the Native voices. I'm a scientist. There's many like me, and we have answers. Thank you for your time.